Welcome back to Insight. We are joined now by Dave Farnbauch, and we're going to talk about a really important topic and something that people don't necessarily think of until they're in the situation. What do you do after you've been involved in an accident? It's one of those unfortunate things.
Yeah, something we don't want to happen, but unfortunately it does probably happen to everyone at some point in their life. Dear heaven.
Okay.
In their life, they're in an accident. So we're driving down the road. I'm in the car. Let's say someone hits me even. I'm not responsible for it at all. And let's say even it's a minor accident. Do I need to get on the phone right then? I mean, obviously we call the police first. Then do I need to get on the phone and call the Sweeney Law Firm right then? What do I do?
Well, the issue of whether you should call an attorney right away probably depends a lot on the severity of the injuries that are involved. If it's a minor crash, then probably calling an attorney is not the best idea. But if you've been injured in an accident, you've been taken to the hospital, you've been treated at the emergency room, you have some ongoing symptoms and problems after the accident, then it probably makes sense before you start talking to the insurance company to find out a little bit about what your rights are, about what's going to happen, and those sorts of things. And so it depends a lot on the severity of the injuries in the crash.
Now, we live in an age where everybody has a cell phone that they can take pictures with. Do you recommend that if you've been in an accident, a car accident for example, that you or your family take pictures right away at the scene or later on? How does that go?
Yeah, I think the most important issue as it pertains to photographs is photographing the injuries themselves. Most of the time after a car crash, the insurance companies are going to be out taking a lot of photographs of the damage to the cars. But what comes and goes are the injuries from the crash itself. Oftentimes people have bruises, will have seatbelt bruises, or they'll have a collection of blood, contusion, or some part of their body that is going to be here today and gone in a few days. And if you don't take photographs of those injuries, then that critical evidence can be lost.
I know the couple of times that I've been in accidents, they've all been minor, thank heavens, but they've not been my fault. They've been the other driver's fault. And so the other driver's insurance company has called me and questioned me. Is it okay for me to talk to them?
Well, I mean, that's probably one of the big issues that a person has to decide from the get-go about how they're going to approach the insurance company contacting them. What people have to understand is that insurance companies are in business not only to pay claims, but also to minimize the amount of money that they pay out in claims. So insurance adjusters receive training on how to talk to people on the phone, get you to say things that maybe aren't in your best interest. You know, they always ask you, well, how you doing? Well, most people don't like to be on the phone and cry and whine about their own injuries. So a lot of people say, well, I guess I'm okay, or I'm feeling better, or whatever. Well, that's a relative term. You might be feeling really bad, but compared to how you felt a day after the accident, you know, you are doing better. But there are certain things that people say to an insurance adjuster over the phone that causes harm to their legal case. So we think it's better if you're involved in any type of a serious accident where you do receive treatment at the emergency room, you have some ongoing symptoms, to consult an attorney beforehand to decide whether you should give a statement to the insurance company, what you should say, and also decide whether maybe you need an attorney to represent you in that case, because it's in your own best interest to have an attorney through this process. The insurance company has done studies on the amount of compensation that a person receives if they don't have an attorney, or the amount of compensation that people receive if they have an attorney. And the insurance company's own research shows that if a person has an attorney, they're apt to receive more than twice as much compensation, even after attorney's fees are paid, as their counterparts who don't hire an attorney.
Wow.
So I mean, that's one of the critical issues. If you are entitled to compensation for medical expenses and lost earnings and pain and suffering, Then you have to decide, well, do I want to go this alone, or do I want to get some competent legal representation to help me through the process and hopefully maximize the amount of my recovery.
Now, is there some checklist or something that the Sweeney Law Firm would have that can kind of tell us maybe what we should do or give us a guideline of how we go about it if we're in that situation?
Well, we do. What we try to provide to consumers is information about some of the steps that they should take immediately after an accident, and this pertains to how you should deal with the insurance company and steps that you should take, just common sense things. Don't, give a statement over the phone unless you're certain about what your legal rights are. Photograph your injuries, just a variety of different helpful tips, and we put it in a form of a brochure or a free report that we give people. So if you go to our website or you call our law firm, we'll send you this free report, which gives people a lot of really valuable information about what to do immediately after an accident.
That's so great, because a lot of times after an accident, it shakes you up, and so even though things might seem like common sense, as we sit here and talk,
right,
after you've had sort of that traumatic experience, you don't have your wits about you.
You don't, and you're just overwhelmed by the whole situation.
Right.
So, if you have been involved in an accident or feel like you need some legal advice maybe about something else, you can give the Sweeney Law Firm a call today or visit their website. We will be right back on Insight.